Selection Monday has came and gone for college baseball championship for Division I, and Clemson did not get the luckiest of draws. We're going to talk about that and so much more here today.
You are Locked On Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Locked On Clemson podcast. Hey, thanks so much for joining us today. You're in for a great episode. Today, we are going to talk all about some Clemson baseball. Yesterday was Selection Monday. It was the Monday where everyone comes together and they select the teams, very much similar to Selection Sunday for basketball, but it was Selection Monday for baseball, where they go through and they select the field for the College World Series. So we're excited about that. Clemson is a host site. They are a top 8 seed, which means if Clemson wins, they have the chance to host not only the regionals, but also the super regionals. So their path to the College World Series got a lot easier. But today we're going to talk about Clemson's regional aspect. We're also going to talk about we're going to go through and fill out a bracket for all of Division I baseball. Fill out a bracket for this tournament and so much more. But thanks so much for making Locked On Clemson your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast over on YouTube. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Here on the Locked On Podcast, you're getting 3 things: all sports, all passion, all of the time. And today, this fine Tuesday, we're going to talk about Clemson baseball. So let's just jump in. Clemson got selected as the 6th overall seed in this year's bracket. And so honestly, we're happy with the 6th seed. What we're not happy with is the luck of the draw for the tournament. So there was 16 different host sites. It was Tennessee, East Carolina, Oklahoma, Florida State, Arkansas, Virginia, Arizona, Chapel Hill, Kentucky, Oregon State, NC State, Georgia, Clemson, Oklahoma State, UC Santa Barbara, Texas A&M. Those were the 16 seeds that got to host a regional matchup. Only the top 8 get to host a super regional. There's an account on Twitter that put out a tweet that shows the hardest regional matchups for each of those host sites. So let's just look onto it. Let's look at that site. Look at this. So this is a great guy, Parker Fleming. I don't know why it says follow. I don't know, but I follow him. He's a great guy. He posts a lot of good baseball stuff, but this is the toughest regionals. You'll notice Tuscan, the hardest one. Tallahassee Regional, the second hardest. Clemson is the 3rd hardest regional based on our matchup. Based on our matchup, Clemson has the 3rd hardest matchup overall for the season or for this regional in all of the College World Series or in all of college tournament, this baseball tournament. So we're going to talk about that and so much more. But overall, Clemson didn't get the best luck of the draw. They didn't get a very lucky draw on it. Here's their matchups. So we start off the tournament on Friday, and we play Clemson is going to play High Point. So we'll play High Point University. We also have Vanderbilt and Coastal Carolina. So we'll also have to play those 2 if we win. And just for a reminder, the breakdown for how the tournament works. There's 64 teams. All those 64 are divided up into 16 regional matchups. Seeds 1 through 16 host a regional matchup where all 4 of the games in their bracket that's divided up play at their site. It is a double elimination. So the tournament, you play everybody and you just keep rotating through. When you lose twice, you're eliminated. Could last quick, could go a little bit longer. But so that's that. And then it moves on to the super regionals, and you're reseeded based on your original seeding, the highest to lowest. And it's, again, it's a 1-game matchup. So you're matched up against one versus other people. You play a 1-game matchup against them, and then you go to the College World Series. And we'll talk more about the College World Series as we get to it. But Clemson, like we said, they got a hard one. They've got High Point University, who's playing really well this year. They came in, played really well in the conference. Coastal Carolina, who always has a good baseball team, won it just a couple years back. And Vanderbilt, who is a powerhouse in the sport of college baseball. So got a real tough matchup. Again, sitting at that ranking, we were sitting at a .59, which was the 3rd hardest according to our opponents. So Clemson's they're definitely fighting an uphill battle. But so today, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to fill out a whole entire bracket. We're going to go through the entire bracket for Division I baseball tournament. We do have this link over on our Twitter right here at I am John Bivens. Head over there. There's in our pinned tweet. There's a link. Join that. Join the group. Fill out a bracket. Let's compete. There might be a prize for the best bracket in that group. Whoever gets the most points right, the most correct, has the most accurate bracket, we'll send a prize over your way. We'll mail it to you if we have to, but yeah, that'd be awesome. But yeah, so we're going to go through and we're just going to fill this out. So let's start with it. The first bracket, the number one overall seed was Tennessee. They're in Knoxville. Tennessee is playing North Kentucky, Indiana, and Southern Miss. Obviously, Kentucky is playing the lowest seed. The last team in the tournament was Northern Kentucky. Overall, I think it's a good matchup. Southern Mississippi is a good school, or Southern Miss. Indiana's a good school. I think there's going to be tough matchups here, but I think Tennessee's going to walk away without a loss. I really see them coming out sweeping through their regional right there. Next up, you got East Carolina, who is the Nets regional host, and they got Evansville, VCU, and Wake Forest. Here, I'm going to call first upset. I'm going to say Wake Forest makes it through this one. East Carolina's got a good team. They do every single year. But Wake Forest, you can't doubt them. You can't doubt against the Demon Deacons when it comes to baseball. They're just so good. They have a pitcher by the last name Hartle. I went to school with his older brother. He was a great basketball player at our college that I went to. Amazing family. Absolutely amazing family. And so I'm just going to root for Hartle. I'm going to root for his success, but he goes over there at Wake Forest. Next up is in Norman. You got Oklahoma is hosting. Oklahoma's playing Oral Roberts, University of Connecticut, and they have the reigning ACC champions of Duke University. This one, guys, this is my upset. I don't think Oklahoma advances. I want to pick Oral Roberts. I really do. I think Oral Roberts has a great team. They're playing good baseball this year. I don't think Connecticut makes up. I'm between Oral Roberts and Duke. I think those are going to be the last two teams remaining. But I'm going to go with, as much as I don't want to, I'm going to go with, I'm not. I'm going Oral Roberts. Mark it down. Oral Roberts, I'm filling this out live if you couldn't tell. But Oral Roberts making it through, advancing to the next round. Next up, Tallahassee. Let's look back at that bracket. If you see, Tallahassee is one of the few schools that are harder than Clemson. They are the second hardest matchup there. So that's Florida State. Florida State's matching this. So they've got a tough challenge if they're going to advance. Florida State has Stetson, UCF, and Alabama. This is going to be our first 3 seed. I think Florida State's a good team, but I don't see them being consistent. One of the big problems they've had all year is consistency, preventing runs. So I think Florida State's going to lose. Alabama's good, but I'm never going to pick Alabama in anything. So I'm going to go UCF, making it through, advancing to that round. Next up is Fayetteville and Arkansas. One more time, let's look at the bracket or that graphic just to see where they're at. Fayetteville, they are one of the easier ones down there, number 13 at .47. So we'll remember that as we come to it. But yeah, overall they've got an easier one. They've got Southern Missouri State, Kansas State, and Louisiana Tech. The Southern Missouri State, I don't think that'll be a challenge for them. Kansas State, I don't think that'll be a challenge for them. Louisiana Tech, I think will be a little tough. I think that could be good, tough matchup. I could easily see that both them going only losing to each other, being the last 2 teams left, and having to play maybe an extra game there. But yeah, I think Arkansas is going to walk away winning that region as well. Charlottesville, this is one of the easiest ones. This is the second or third easiest matchup right there. You can see it .445. But yeah, so Charlottesville, this is Virginia. Virginia's playing Pennsylvania, St. John's, and Mississippi State. I do think Virginia walks away with this. I think Virginia's going to take it and win this one as we go through. So yeah, we're putting Virginia to win their region as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to keep talking about all of this and so much more. So we will just give us a minute and we'll be right back.
Guess what, guys? It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Guess what? The NBA playoffs are here. Anthony Edwards is absolutely killing it. And plus, if you're into the NHL, we got some slap shots you can bet on. The Carolina Hurricanes are in the second round right now. So I need you to go to that bad boy and check it out. Because here's what new customers can get. $150. Yes, you heard that correctly. $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Let me repeat that. $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. And I'm telling you, you can bet on anything from the spreads, the money lines, player props, and much, much more. I'm telling you, $150, oh my God, you can win some money. All you got to do is pay attention and go to FanDuel.com/locked-on. The website is FanDuel.com/locked-on, LOCKEDON, and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook.
Welcome back to the Locked On Clemson podcast. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to keep going through this as we go through and hear this. Next up, we got the region of Tuscany. We've got Tuscany, or Tuscan. As you can see there, the number one, the hardest average power rating of their non-hosts. So here's their bracket. They've got 2 Christian schools. You know us. We're a pastor here on the podcast. But yeah, we got Arizona as the host. They've got Grand Canyon University, West Virginia, and Dallas Baptist. Man, I want to pick Grand Canyon University. I love them. I love their spirit. I love their environment in all sports related, especially their basketball. As much as I think I want them to do well, I do think Dallas Baptist, that they're going to upset Arizona, and Dallas Baptist, the 2 seed in this region, is going to make it through and advance. Next up, we have Chapel Hill. According to this graphic, we're going to refer to this a lot if you couldn't tell. According to this graphic, Chapel Hill does have the easiest or second easiest regional matchup. And I'll be honest, in my opinion, I think they have the easiest. I think they're easily the easiest one. They've got a cakewalk. Their challenge is North Carolina. They're hosting. They've got Long Island, Wofford, and LSU. Look, I know if they're making a baseball tournament, and this beautiful thing about baseball, anyone could beat anybody any day, right? Anyone, anybody, any day. But I think this is, if you could pick a regional matchup, this is where I'd want Clemson. LSU's a good school, but they've been super inconsistent this year. They didn't win they didn't win as many games as they're used to, but they still are a 2 seed, which is good. I think Chapel Hill's going to advance this one. And again, I could see them going through undefeated in this matchup. Next up, we've got Lexington. This is Kentucky's matchup. They've got Western Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana State. Here, we're going to go with Indiana State. Kentucky's a good ball team. Kentucky is the number 2 overall seed. I think Indiana State's going to be the last team remaining with Kentucky, but I think Kentucky's going to win it. I don't think they sweep it. I think they'll lose a game, but I think they will make it out of their region. Corvallis. Next up is Oregon State. Oregon State's got another challenge. They've got Tulane, Nicholls State, and UC Irvine. Oregon State, their pitching has been elite this year. I mean, just absolutely elite. So I think they're going to be tough to beat. But Tulane, 4 seed, I think they should be a little higher than what they are. I think they should have been a little bit higher, but Oregon State wins this and advances to the next round. Next up, we got Raleigh, NC State, another ACC. ACC has 5 schools, right? 5 schools with the SEC. Love to see that. But NC State's up next. They've got overall a decent matchup. According to the graphic, they're about middle of the road. You can see them Raleigh at number 10. They've got Bryant University, James Madison University, and UOSC down in Columbia, South Carolina. I think James Madison is a tough school. South Carolina obviously has a good team. Not good enough to beat Clemson, but they got a good team. And then they got Bryant up after that. But I think NC State's going to advance through this. I don't think it's a sweep, but I think they're going to advance through. Next up is in Athens, University of Georgia. They've got Army, Georgia Tech, and UNC Wilmington. Georgia right now has one of the best players in college baseball right now. They have a player who has led the league in RBIs and home runs, had the 6th most home runs in a season in all of college baseball history. 6 most home runs. I think Georgia's their firepower. None of these other 3 schools. Georgia Tech's a good team. I love the ACC. Want to pick them, but Georgia's just got too much firepower to handle. So that's that in Athens. Next up is Clemson. Clemson, like we talked about, tough regional matchup. 3rd hardest. They've got Clemson, High Point, Coastal Carolina, Vanderbilt. We've got to get through the rut. We've got to get through this rut that we're in with pitching. That we've got to be more consistent from start to finish. No middle innings gap. No collapses at the end. No giving up a bunch of runs in the first 2 innings like we did in the ACC tournament. We've got to win this. But I think we'll win this. I think we'll walk through. Vanderbilt, I think, is their tough challenge. Coastal Carolina might be our toughest one. But I think we'll win this matchup. So I've got us winning that regional. Next up is the team that we would play in the Super Regional. So we will play the winner of this next one in Stillwater, which is Oklahoma State, Niagara University, Florida, and Nebraska. This one's a tough one. This is a good matchup. I think there's a lot of top to bottom talent here. I'm going to go Nebraska, the Cornhuskies, walking through there, escaping through this one, so we're excited to see them. Can't wait to see what's going to happen over there. I think Nebraska wins. Only 2 more. 2 more we've got. Next one is Santa Barbara. We've got UC Santa Barbara is hosting their regional matchup. They've got UC Santa Barbara, Fresno State, Oregon, and San Diego. Man, this is just fun teams. All four of these schools are fun teams to watch. Santa Barbara plays with energy. Fresno State plays like it's their last game no matter what. Oregon, what uniforms, right? Top uniforms, well, some of the best in the nation. And then San Diego State, or San Diego, not San Diego State, just San Diego University. I think it's a great one. I think Santa Barbara escapes this one with a win. And then the last one is College Station. College Station, looking at the graphic right here, has the easiest, by far the easiest matchup in the regional matchup. And here's their matchup. They've got Texas A&M, Grambling State, Texas, and Louisiana. I want to pick Texas. I really do. If I was not a Clemson fan, had to pick a school number 2, Texas would be it. But I'm going to go, I think Texas A&M, just with their regional matchup. They've got too much talent against not enough talent there. So unless something crazy happens, that's what we think. Next up, so now we are moving on to the regional match, or the super regionals. Now the super regionals happen. This will be June 7th through June 10th. It's a best of 3 series. So we read those off in order. The winners of both of those divisions would play each other in a best of 3 matchup. So first up, we have Tennessee going up against Wake Forest. That would be, if this happens, that'll be one of the best series, one of the best games, and it's a best of 3 series of the entire tournament. 2 really talented teams, 2 teams that are going to come out there. They're going to fight for everything they have. They're going to play competitively. They're going to put everything they have on the line. So we're really excited about that, excited about the series. I think Wake Forest does it. I think they upset the number 1 overall seed. Maybe that's bitterness because of Tennessee. Past couple years, they've been hurting to us, right? They embarrassed us in a bowl game 2 years ago in football. The last year in baseball, they embarrassed us. They took one of our best players. So whatever. I'm going Wake Forest. Call me what you want, but I'm going Wake Forest. After that, you got Oral Roberts and UCF. These two were both underdog schools. These were a 4 and a 3 seed, so that'd be a fun match to watch, just seeing that underdog mentalities going up against each other. But I think UCF would put up a heck of a fight, but I'm going to pick Oral Roberts to advance to the College World Series from their side. Next up, you got Arkansas and Virginia. I love Virginia. As much as I want to go with Virginia, and they're a great school, I do think Arkansas would win there. So I'm going to pick Arkansas to advance on moving forward. And then next up, you got Dallas Baptist versus Chapel Hill. Man, I can't stand Chapel Hill. I really don't like them. I want to pick Dallas Baptist, but I think I'm gonna have to go moment decision on the spot. We're going to come back to that matchup. We're going to come back there, and we'll talk about that one in a second. But next up, when we go through, we're almost through this. We're about halfway through the Super Regional, so we will get there in just a second. But yeah, so next up is coming up soon. This is almost a Clemson's matchup, but we're at Dallas Baptist, North Carolina. We're skipping there. Next is Kentucky and Oregon State. I think Kentucky wins this one. Oregon State's great. They got a great team, but Kentucky's firepower and their pitching really electric this year, so I'm going to go Kentucky win this. Next up, we got NC State and Georgia. Again, I want to be ACC. I want to see ACC do well, but unfortunately, their firepower is so well, and they have good pitching. So I'm going to say Georgia takes this one. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a close one. I could see Georgia sweeping them, so Georgia winning that. Next, Clemson versus Nebraska. Honestly, this is a matchup we want to see. We want to see this. Nebraska isn't known for their firepower. They've got decent pitching, but their offense slacks, and so I think this would be a great matchup for Clemson. Put Clemson winning that one. And last up is UC Santa Barbara versus Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M with that easy regional matchup, they're going to come into this a little too high, not as focused, and UC Santa Barbara wins this one. So there is our winners of the Super Regional. We have our College World Series set, and in just a moment, we're going to keep this conversation going as we move forward and predict the College World Series. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to the Locked On Clemson podcast. Hey, so now we are at the College World Series. We have went through it, and now we're in the College World Series. What this is another one where it is a bracket challenge, where it is a best of 4. It is pool play. You come in, double elimination in the bracket challenge, just like the last one. We didn't go back. We did miss one thing before we do this. We did not go back to Dallas Baptist in Carolina. Going back to there, as much as I want to go with Dallas Baptist, I am going to go Chapel Hill. They've just got a really good team, and they're getting hot at the right time, so I think that Carolina's going to win that. But the College World Series, the first round of it, it's broke up into a couple different rounds. The first round is a double elimination and bracket play. What it basically it is like the first round of the regionals. You're broken up into 4 teams, and these are the last 8 teams left of the tournament. You're broken into 2 groups of 4, and in those you play double elimination. So you play everybody. When you lose 2 games, you're out. The first bracket, we have Wake Forest, Oral Roberts, Arkansas, and North Carolina. The second bracket, we have Kentucky, Georgia, Clemson, UC Santa Barbara. Out of that first bracket, you've got some good talent there. You've got Wake Forest, who's always a good team. Oral Roberts, who is obviously a very, very talented team as well. Arkansas, who's making a surprise run getting this far. And then North Carolina. We're going to go Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest, it's hard for us to bet against them. I'd love to see that matchup. The next one, in bracket 2, we have Kentucky, Georgia, Clemson, UC Santa Barbara. What a bracket. You've got Kentucky, which is playing better than they have in so long of a time as the number 2 seed overall. Georgia, with that firepower, best hitter in all of baseball. Clemson, who started off the best team in baseball through the first 31 games. And then UC Santa Barbara, who is underdog mentality always. I think Clemson, we're going there. I think it's going to be a really tough matchup. We're going to have to see our players play really well, but we're going to go with Clemson as our champions. And then the finals. ACC Finals for the College World Series. Clemson versus Wake Forest. It is again a best of 3 series, so it could go all the way. It could go 2-game sweep, or it could go 3 games. It'd be Clemson versus Wake Forest. We think Clemson's going to win in 3 games. Honestly, our prediction, Wake Forest takes game 1, Clemson takes game 2 with a late comeback, and then Clemson dominates in game 3. So we have Clemson winning our College World Series. What else do you expect? We're a Clemson page. Of course we have Clemson. But that is our predictions for the College World Series for Division I baseball tournament this year. We are doing all of this at Bracket Challenge D1 Baseball. Again, we're going to have a link on our Twitter right here at I am John Bivens. Follow that. Go to our page in the pinned tweet. You can find a link to join this challenge. There is going to be a prize. We will send out for the highest one in this group. If only 2 people join the group, if you beat me, you'll get a prize. So go join that group. It's free to play, free to enter. You're not going to have to sign up for a bunch of alerts or anything like that, but go enter that bracket. We would love to see as many people as possible enter this. If we get a bunch of people, we might even just give a prize out for anyone that joins it. So we'll see how that goes. Go join that bracket. I promise it'll be worth it. But that's it. That's what we're going to talk about today. That is the main thing we're going to talk about. Now we're going to end the episode with what we've been talking about and what we do every single Monday, and it is our Momentum Monday. We're going to keep this brief just because we don't want to keep distracted. We want to keep this a baseball episode. So Momentum Monday, what that is every Monday we go through and we talk about what the momentum of Clemson sports, what's going on in the program, what's big things happening, what is the momentum happening surrounding the sport, surrounding athletics. So we're going to dive into three different momentums. We're going to go high momentum, low momentum, and mid. Mid being not really any, just floating by the boat. Our high momentum right now has got to be our basketball team. Our our men's basketball team, Brad Burnell is working his behind off, getting recruits in, getting transfers in. Our team next year is going to look stout. That he's filled the holes as much as he can. I think we're going to have to change our play style. We'll talk about that later on. But he's really done the work. He's put in the effort. He's done everything he can. We're losing some pieces with PJ Hall. All we're waiting on now, the only thing we're missing is whether or not Chase Hunter is going to return. We will find that out before the draft. That's going to come up in the next couple weeks. We'll find out if Chase Hunter is going to come back and be with us, return back at Clemson, or if he's going to move on and go somewhere else. But we'll find that out soon. But right now, college basketball, Clemson basketball men's team is high momentum. Our mid momentum is our football. Right now we've got good transfers, good recruits. Just kidding, we have 0 transfers. But we didn't lose a lot of people. Dabo's in the media a lot. There's people it's really high, there's people really low. So our basketball team right now, we're going to put it middle of the road, kind of middle of the pack right there on their aspect, on where they're at right there. And then our low momentum is right now has got to be our baseball team. Like we talked about, and we've talked about it so much. 28-3 to start off with, and we ended with 14 losses. Pitiful, right? I think we ended 41-14. ACC tournament, we played pitifully. We beat Louisville, sure, but we lost to Miami in an ugly fashion. It's all because of 5 runs in the first inning. You start off with that hole, you're going to have problems. So low momentum there. Got to keep it back up. Got to get back into full swing. Got to get back into the habit. Got to get back into who Clemson baseball truly is. And I really hope that in our regional matchup starting Friday, they can do that. Our first game is Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time down in Clemson. We're excited about about that. We play High Point. Hopefully we can kick that off with a big win against a lower school before we play those tougher 2 matchups. So we're excited to see that. But those are our Monday momentums. Basketball, high. Baseball, low. Football, middle of the road. So that's where we're at. And with all that being said, that is going to wrap up this edition of the Locked On Clemson podcast. Hey, throughout this week, we're going to dive into football. We're going to talk about more for football specific as we are under 100 days until kickoff. We're excited about all that. So we'll talk about football and much more later on. But hey, let us know your thoughts on the day. Reach out to us. Drop a comment who you think your college baseball champion will be this year. Who's going to win the World Series. Hit that up on us. Over on Twitter, give us a follow. Hit that link. Make sure you join our bracket challenge. We'd love to see you over there joining that bracket. We would love to see as many people in that as possible. Prizes will be given out, so make sure you join us over there. But also, hey, if you haven't, make sure you're subscribed. If you're listening to this audio, we appreciate you. We appreciate all of our listeners so much. We're so grateful for every single one of you. But if you are listening audio, make sure you if you're liking the show, hit a follow, rate it 5 stars. If you're enjoying it a lot, share it with one of your Clemson fans. Let's grow this Tiger Wire family, or let's grow this Locked On Clemson family. Let's become more everydayers. We'd love to grow more people and grow this fan base, grow this community here on Locked On Clemson. If you're over on YouTube, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're growing a little bit every single day. So please hit that subscribe button, send it over to your friends, drop some comments. Let's get that comment action getting active, blowing up. We'd love to see all that. But yeah, we love seeing the growth. We are so appreciative for every single one of you. Thank you so much for being everyday listeners, for listening and joining us here on the Locked On Clemson podcast. We're going to have so much more content coming for you later this week. We can't wait to see you on tomorrow's episode. But until then, keep that Tiger pride alive and roaring. And as always, go Tigers.